Hello everyone, my name is Clark Wolf. I'm a senior host and producer here at Fandom, and it's time for a Westworld Season 2 premiere chat. Here on the couch with me, I have Miss Lauren Galloway. She is the television editor, and Drew Deach, who is the entertainment editor. So we're gonna get sweaty and dive in to all these details that I admittedly do not understand. And I have watched every episode of the show, but that's why you guys are here, to help people like me and people who actually know what's going on understand a little bit better. Okay, so Westworld premiered last night on HBO, and the first question I wanna start by asking you both is, just very generally, was the season 2 premiere what you expected? Yes or no? Lauren, let's start with you.
I would say it was not what I expected at all. For some reason, I thought that the time jump would be a lot bigger than it was. I was surprised when the video feed that they found said that it had only been about 10 or 11 days. I thought we were gonna jump potentially years into the future. So I think that was the biggest surprise for me.
Drew?
Actually, it was a little bit what I expected. I expected they would cover the big event that happened at the end of season 1, the death of Ford. And I was very happy to see that the show is continuing to have a non-linear story structure. That's even becoming part of the narrative of the show in terms of, do we know when things are going on? And are we even able to rely on that we're in the present as we're told? But I think it kind of satiated what I wanted immediately for a follow-up and set up the season really well.
So I'm glad you bring that up because as a season 1 viewer, I feel like a lot of questions were answered, but a lot were not. And then here we are with this big season 2 premiere, and I feel like even more questions were asked. I want to ask what the most exciting thing that was introduced in the premiere was for you guys.
So for me, it was definitely Ford's new puzzle for the Man in Black. You know, the Man in Black, his greatest regret at the end of season 1 was, oh, I got to the end of the maze. Oh, it wasn't for me, it was actually for Dolores. And I think, you know, for the Man in Black's character, he spent, what, 25, 30 years in the park trying to figure out this puzzle, and it like had such a letdown for him. And I loved when he was talking with the little boy kind of creepily turned to him and was like, oh, BTW, like I built you a game. And I think Ford, like for me, like this is Ford's season. Like I feel like season 1 was a lot of Dolores. You know, the end of her maze was her sentience and her discovering her voice and herself and almost discovering her humanity in a way. I feel like for this season, this is gonna be Ford kind of rediscovering his humanity. Because I think the park has warped him in such a way, and like he was not a bad person, you know, way back when Jimmy Simpson's character was playing him. And so I think for me, like, why did Ford build him this huge puzzle? What is the door? You know, he said something really cryptic like, it'll end where you began. So does that mean like way back when he met Dolores, when she dropped the can? Does that mean something that happened on their journey? I mean, I'm super curious about that.
So many questions.
I think it's when he was born, that first moment when between him and Logan in the first season, when he went crazy and killed the entire settlement. I was like, this is where I found myself.
Okay.
But for me, it was a small detail, but something that I thought about during season 1. In the premiere for season 2, there was a very little aside about that Delos, the corporation that runs the park, is stealing the guests' DNA from hosts and also recording their experiences. Which I thought, I was like, you know, everybody goes to this park and pretty much just lets their wildest inhibitions run rampant. And these are super rich people, clearly. Why wouldn't you be collecting blackmail on all these people? Right. So I think that was such a small aside in the premiere, but I'm like, that is coming back because something is being leveraged. And Delos has talked about what their real interest in the park is. This could be it, is that it gives them even more power over swaying world events, controlling power for people all around the world. I would keep an eye on that story thread.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so next thing I want to ask you guys is because overall, you guys would say you really enjoyed the premiere.
Loved it, yep.
Yeah, so was there anything in particular, especially after having waited so long, that you didn't like or that didn't work for you?
So for me, that would definitely be Dolores' character.
I'm with you on this one.
In season 1, Dolores was my favorite. I was rooting for her. I think Evan Rachel Wood is incredible. And yet there was something kind of two-dimensional, I think, about her character in this episode, because she was just running around shooting people kind of briefly. And then she had that moment where she said, well, the farm girl would look for the beauty and would want to save you. And Wyatt would want to hurt you. And I was thinking, well, what does Dolores want? And then of course she said that, like, she's trying to figure out what she wants, but I guess she's still too new to know what she wants. And I'm wondering, like, how much of her personality is just playing out Ford's last kind of command for her.
Yeah, on this topic, I would quickly interject that one of the struggles for me with this show is I have a really hard time relating to the characters. I really have a hard time investing in their journeys. And Dolores was the character, pretty much the one that I was emotionally invested in and I could feel like I could identify with. And I agree with you, like, and granted, I understand in the process of the journey, like, she's not having it anymore, and that's great,
Yeah.
but there was something mustache twirly about last night, or even, like, to use the term robotic, like, it was very hard for me to feel emotionally invested in her kicking ass, for lack of a better way. But
See, I disagree. I loved Dolores as this amalgamation of what we know of her from season 1, which was primarily her, naive self. Now she's been combined with this Wyatt villain character, and it's created a dichotomy in her. And we saw mostly what many would consider the evil side of her in the premiere. But I think she's like any revolutionary. She has to have violent upheaval to get what she wants, and it's not pretty. I'm not, advocating what she did, but I understand her motivations, and I think we see in the premiere that she is, maybe not power mad, but definitely succumbing to the darker urges in herself because she's had an entire lifetime of never having that. I mean, I love the premiere. The only thing I can say that I was a little disappointed in is that the season 1 finale ended with a tease of, like, yes, there are other worlds than Westworld. And we got the smallest of teases in the premiere in that a tiger from another park has shown up somewhere in this place that shouldn't exist according to everybody. I definitely do want to see more of the other parks. I know a lot of people that's what they want. We got confirmation that there are at least 6 parks. I was expecting, like, Maeve to already be in Shogun World, like, looking, for her daughter. So that was about it, but I'm also fine being patient. Like, I know it's coming, so.
okay, so to wrap it up, because we love, it wouldn't be the internet if we couldn't dig through all our favorite theories and all of our favorite re-examinings. So what was the thing that stood out to you the most upon either a second viewing of the premiere, or maybe after thinking about it a little while and you go, oh, that was that. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. What was the biggest thing that you sort of discovered upon reevaluation?
So I rewatched the episode like twice last night, and when you watch it the first time, that opening dialogue is Arnold. I always want to call him Bernard or
Bernardold. We're calling him Bernardold.
Jeffrey Wright's character. He's recounting a dream that he had to Dolores, and he is washed up on a beach, and she says, oh, are you with us? And he says, no, you've gone ahead without me. And if you absorb everything that happens in the episode, when you get to that last shot of Bernard on a beach where Dolores has gone ahead of him, you might not make that connection. But when you rewatch it, you see that first scene is really mirroring the last scene. And so, we don't know the timeline, like you were saying, Drew. We don't know if that was Bernard having like a premonition, or if that was the real Arnold having this kind of dream, or if it's all happened before, because we found out that Dolores had kind of killed all the hosts previously. But that's something I didn't catch, was that like the dream that he had, he's now living and he's a host now, and like all of his hosts have left him. And I almost, like, my heart goes out to Bernard because he's like the last host standing in a way. And I loved his scenes with Tessa Thompson because he's like desperately trying to hide the fact that he's the enemy.
Right.
But he isn't the enemy because he doesn't necessarily have like harmful feelings towards them. But that dream connection was I was like, wow, I didn't catch that.
To your point about the ending, that's definitely mirroring the first time Arnold decided we can't open the park, I have to destroy all the hosts, Teddy and Dolores killed everybody. it's an exact mirror. It is like I'm having, you know, Battlestar Galactica flashbacks of like, all this has happened before, all it will happen again. I love that about the show. I love that it keeps playing with time in really fascinating narrative ways, and I think there's gonna be some big surprises with Bernard's story when we see just exactly when the present really is.
Ooh, the present is a present. Well, thank you guys for doing this. This was super, super fun. We're super excited for season 2 of Westworld. Where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Lauren Galloway, and I will be doing Westworld kind of like immediate reactions every Sunday night at Fandom.
Awesome. Drew?
You can find me at Drew Deach, and I'm sure I'll be chiming in every once in a while with more of my crazy ramblings about Westworld.
Good, more crazy ramblings. And tell us what you thought. Tell us your crazy ramblings on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Clark Wolf. We'll see you next time. Bye.